Alright, welcome back to the Flatworld project. This is the Java edition. Haven't really touched this in about a week or so I figured it might as well get back in and get another episode of it going. Um, so we're going to be doing a little bit more groundwork, and now that we've got a rough idea of what this whole bunch of exterior is going to look like, we can start filling in the ground up, just work layer by layer. It'll be a little bit easier, I think, to just do layer by layer, because then I don't have to worry so much about crawling around in the dark underneath and messing with stuff like that. So just fill it in, maybe talk about some things as we go. Alright. This series is more meant to be more just a straight line relaxation series. It's not anything super heavy duty when it comes to the gameplay. This is something that I'm potentially looking at turning into a server at some point, which for me, running a server as opposed to a ROM in Windows 10 is going to take a little bit more looking into, just to make sure that I have a server that can run it optimally for the right amount of money, and something that's sustainable whether or not I get other people to join me. So I think we'll get there. This channel's already starting to actually see some more views and subscribers. I am up from 2 to 6, so I am happy about that. Thank you to those who have subscribed. I know it's going to be a long time before I hit the 1,000 subscribers, but I never really... This isn't meant to be an income provider so much for me, that mainly if it does get to the point where it is monetized, it is going to be mainly just to keep adding new games and stuff like that. It's not going to be an actual income source for myself. Alright, so this is going to be a little dark at first. me check out what I did on the other one. So looks like wait. This is a reminder. I like to do that, or I'll give myself little tips to remind myself where things are. So no, this map or this series is kind of can be on the boring side, but I do know there's a lot of people that'll watch things like this just because it is a calming influence. I myself like to watch a lot of the longer-winded YouTube videos just because it gives me something to kind of zone out in, and especially at night when I want to go to sleep early, because I now work opening shifts where I get up at 3 a.m. in the morning. If I am up past 9 o'clock at night, it's definitely makes the next day that much more difficult. So a lot of times I will plug in someone that I enjoy watching do something, but that is a longer episode, like a 2 or 3 hour episode, and I'll fall asleep to it. Just make sure you plug your phone in, I guess, so that your battery doesn't run out. Or I'll start like a long series of something that's interesting but not super interesting. Like I do like watching a lot of the armor playthroughs, and because there's a series called Friday Night Fights through Lance Corporal Lyra, which is very interesting to watch, but it's also something that I basically can listen to, and I almost ends up, by the time I fall asleep, I end up actually almost dreaming the rest of the video along with him as he's talking while I'm sleeping. So it's a nice little way to fall asleep, and it also kind of keeps away some of those bad thoughts at night. So I guess you can call it YouTube therapy, maybe. I might not talk as much as I should, but I still gotta get used to the whole narrating thing myself on here, especially when it comes to keeping the conversation on track and having stuff to talk about, but not repeating myself or talking in circles or just droning on, babbling on about nothing. Sooner or later, I really need to learn how to do montages so that when I do a larger project like this and I'm filling in a large area, I can speed it up. I'm still learning this, especially when it comes to the editing aspect. I don't really have a lot of supercomputer experience, so when it comes to learning how to edit and stuff, I've got to either learn it myself piece by piece, or just wait until I have the time to look in depth for ideas on how to do it. But I'll get there sooner or later. Right now, this is quite a small channel, so I'm more worried about getting enough content out to keep the YouTube algorithm pushing numbers and, you know, keep getting new members so that I can get the channel out there a little bit more. And I guess, like I said, this is not necessarily something that I'm looking to make a large income off of, but I want to take off some of the strain it has on my regular everyday income to provide new games for recording. Because there are a lot of games that come out, especially in this age. There's so many independent producers that are actually producing quality content, even though they've only got a small group of producers, instead of these 80-person huge game companies. And a lot of these games are actually quite well-made games, and they're something that I would want to look at. But a lot of them are either part of a Kickstarter program or something like that, where they cost the extra money. And being able to, if I can get this channel enough that I can start doing that, doing it from the proceeds, it'll make it so that I'm not taking money that we need for our everyday expenses. That's why I got a lot of games on my wish list, and when they go on super cheap sale, I'll just scramble them up. But by the time they get there, it's a game that everybody else has reviewed, and it's really not that big of a deal to check it out and post it, unless it's something that I do end up liking and end up playing regularly because I like it. Like Minecraft, even in vanilla, and especially with the new updates and stuff, there's always something to do. Sometimes it's even just starting a new series with it, just starting from scratch, going out and punching that first tree on a new world that is full of discovery that is renewable. Like this project ideas like this, while huge and they can take a while and they can be kind of boring, they're still, by the time they're done, they're worth the effort you put into them. And with my leaning to share this as part of an actual multiplayer realm, I think is what's making it worth the time and effort. Plus, like I said, it's something that's relaxing for me. I've got, 4 or 5 hours before I go to sleep tonight. I get up at 3 in the morning. So, for me, this is something that's very relaxing and will actually get me in the proper mood to be able to go to sleep later. And it also is just, stress reliever after the hardships of the week. I love my kids, but sometimes they can be quite a bit to deal with, as any parent will know. And it's just generally my way of relaxing. And I've always been into these kind of creative style games, just because it gives you more freedom of expression. I do play things like Skyrim or something where you're linear, a little more linear, but when I really want to relax, it's going to be something like this. I really like the other 2 games that I really am pushing on this channel, especially Reassembly. I love Reassembly. The possibilities are endless, and every time I play a new playthrough, it seems I learn a new trick or a new skill to be able to make better ships. There's a lot of mods out there that you can add in, and it's just, something I enjoy doing. And being 2D, it's a little bit not quite as annoying to try and fit everything together as it is for, say, something like Space Engineers or Avorion, which are both games I enjoy, but that I've noticed that I've really been putting a lot of time into Reassembly, and that may change down the road once I run out of ideas. But I do want to eventually get that to the point where the factions I've created, I can make a mod for a universe that spawns those ships. So for a themed universe, I'm working on both Star Trek and Star Wars versions. The Star Wars is a little bit harder because the non-imperial designs are a little bit harder to make in the game, but I'm getting there. And like I said, every time I play, play a new faction, play through, I learn more as I go. Oops, wrong block. I'm getting there. Well, I mean, relatively in this area. I am glad that I decided not to do the super fancy tiling because that would probably extend my time more than I wanted to really put into this. And also, those designs were a little on the busy side when it comes to the way they looked. And this is kind of meant to be kind of a little bit of a cross between Minoan and like Isle of Crete, or ancient Minoan, and Babylonian style architecture. I mean, the Minoan's more the color scheme, and the overall ziggurat is very much based off of the Hanging Gardens of Babylon, minus the actual garden part. I am also going to there's also going to be a little bit of an Egyptian influence because there's going to be obelisks around the outside of the ziggurat, and there's also going to be a pyramid on the top platform. So it's kind of a mashup of cultures, but it's still kind of something that's going to be its own thing. The idea is to, this place was put here by the elder gods. And it's the center of the realm, or I should say the server, whatever it ends up being, and is the point where, you turn what you produce into something else. So it's going to have that kind of spiritual aspect to it. I haven't quite figured out how I'm going to do access between the layers. I'm thinking it may either be all in the center, or I may even use some type of command block teleportation. These ones here I am making longer, like hour-long playthroughs, just because they're, like I said, they're meant more for relaxation than actual, you know, excitement and adventures. I am glad I'm finally able to actually talk to you with the microphone. Between turning game music on and cutting back the sensitivity of the microphone, I've cut back a good chunk of it. You really only hear anything if the dog's barking at someone or my wife's, you know, yelling at the kids or something like that. Generally, other than that, either you don't hear it or it's drowned out by the music. So I am definitely focusing on games that have a soundtrack to them. And again, I am also looking for the free use of, if someone wants to put some original music up online and have it advertised. I'm not in the position to actually purchase music yet, but if I end up monetizing videos, I can potentially reach a deal with somebody for including their music. Mainly this would be theme music, not lyrical. Any type of like electronic music, or you know, like theme background music. I'm also going to be looking for some sort of, you know, theme for my channel that, so that it's recognizable, and maybe even an intro to for videos. I'm a little low on the subscribers to really put in that kind of effort yet, but it is something that I will do when the time comes. And if anybody is interested in producing that for me, it is also something that could be negotiated on. But until I hit those 1,000 subscribers and YouTube lets me actually successfully monetize videos, it would be a ad hoc system, meaning that it would be only an advertisement for the person that's providing that, not actually getting paid for it. So I get paid for videos. I can't pay anybody else for videos. That's the biggest thing. My YouTube career, so to speak, is meant to be a standalone thing. So anything that is added to it, it is something that is going to need to come from it. So it's going to have to be self-contained. Because I just don't have the resources with 2 kids and a wife, and just to keep throwing money at something that is still on such small of a scale. And I do have other projects that I'm working on that are meant to be future possible income sources. Like I'm a tabletop game designer, and I'm working on a game for that. We're also looking at a 3 to 5 year plan for getting into a sheep and alpaca farm. So any extra money we have is getting put into either savings or side projects with a specific goal. So this YouTube, I did put an investment into it when it came to getting the computer and a couple of the games that I actually picked up, even though they're for the most part on sale. I did put in almost a $3,000 investment to getting started on YouTube, but that had been planned for, and it was with the caveat that that was it. That was what was going into it. Anything else is going to be either produced from the YouTube career, or if I expand to Twitch, or develop a Patreon, that's all going to be self-contained. So any profit that would come from that would go back into it for future episodes or whatnot. And then anything that was surplus would just be put into savings. My wife has also shown an interest in potentially creating a cooking channel, so we may be saving some money towards that if this goes anywhere. So in general, I think that if I continue to treat it like a job as I am, and keep producing the videos, even if it's not, you know, the 100% greatest content, it will eventually get somewhere. And even if I make, you know, $50 here, $50 there, it'll be enough to justify it. And if I absolutely don't make anything out of it, then it's just going to be a place to share with friends. So it's not, the channel's not going to go away just because it fails. It just might step down in the amount of content per week. So, but I am giving it a good solid 3 years before I would have to make that decision. So you got plenty of time to see. And I'm being honest because it's, I think that when you are looking for people to spend their time on something that you've created that is respectful, to be as honest as possible with them. I don't want to be like one of those YouTubers that's, you know, got the fake personality or trying to make a gimmick just to get views. I'm here because I like being here, and I'm here because I want people to genuinely enjoy my content. So those are my two, I guess, prime directives. And when it comes to the point where neither of them is being fulfilled, then I would take the steps to reevaluate. But I talked it over with my wife, and we both agreed that it's going to be at least 3 years before we can do anything about the farm, because of our credit issues. So that's our window also to make this work and make our other projects work. And there's a lot of YouTubers that have been producing content for 3 years, 3 years or more, that are still not much above what they started out with. But like I said, we've gotten 4 new subscribers in the last month on top of the original 2 that I had, which one of them was my own main Facebook account, or my main YouTube account for family stuff. So I'm already considering myself blessed in this endeavor. So. And also, if YouTube ends up being an avenue that isn't going to be effective for funding itself, I will also be looking into Twitch and possibly, if it becomes a thing, Patreon or some other similar program like that. Anybody that views this video, whether they subscribe or not, I am always open to any type of suggestions. I mean, the worst that can happen is I might say, no, that's not something I'm interested in at this time. So if you have your own realms or servers or multiplayer that you might want to collaborate with, then by all means, contact me. I still have yet to put my email onto the page, but I will at some point put it there. But for now, you can always leave a message underneath the videos in the comment section. Say, hey, this is my, like, PM me, like, drop your name and just PM me or something like that, and we can always talk. I'm not above anyone else, so if anybody else wants to spend some creative time, I am all for it. And I love supporting other people's content too. I mean, I'm not going to go out of my way to make any actual advertisements for people yet, but if it's something that you help me out, I'll help you out. Or if it's like something that I really do like, I might throw a name out there anyways. Like when I was talking about watching Lero at night. So Yeah, I'm generally pretty approachable. And the way I look at it is, this is all one big community, so the more we help out each other, the more we all grow together. Yeah. It's almost is a city when it comes to the size inside of it. Let's see. Most of the interior is going to be empty, excepting wherever I end up putting all the markets at. Um, and it'll be something that the players can fill in within reason. Oh, I think my dog's coming back in. I think another thing I might have to splurge on is a room darkening panel. in the afternoon, usually when I record, right towards the last couple hours of the session, I get a lot of light in the back of my house, right where my office is, which makes everything on the screen twice as dark.
Yawning a little bit.
video setup. Alright. An overall look real quick. Kind of take a break, take a drink of water before I finish up the last 10 minutes. Kind of starting to zone out on the repetitive action, but like I said, I want to make sure I'm getting the good hour in each one, just because there is so much. It is such a large project. I can't really afford to do it in half-hour segments. And if that means that you might hear a little snore in the background, or I stop talking for a little bit, it is what it is. Not the first time I've fallen asleep producing videos. I am working on trying to combat that on other playthroughs. Yeah, carried away there. Alright, I think I'm going to call that it for this episode. I did get another almost section done. My flooring underneath there, I got that whole section done. So I'm going to leave the center section until I have a little bit better idea of what I'm going to do with it. It may just be a duplicate of that, but I'm going to see how much of it I can get to go up through the next layer. So when I get to choose, I'm thinking that center square will be 2 layers high, whereas everything else is only 1 layer high on each level. But overall, it's coming along. And then I think that's it. Alright, thank you for joining me, and I will be uploading this video today, and possibly one more of something. Today's Wednesday, so I may be doing a reassembly video. I do plan on, I think I'm going to step up the reassembly and try and get out 3 or 4 videos a week on that, just because it's something that seems to have attention, and it's something that I really enjoy. I guess that's about it, and we'll see you next time.